A fourth argument, another psychological one, is from the consequences of belief in God. This, too, is, I think, not a absolutely certain knock 'em down, drag 'em out argument, but an argument with very high degree of probability. It's empirically provable that believers are happier than unbelievers, that they live longer, that they're healthier, and that they're more moral. There are spectacular exceptions to this, of course, but on the whole, in all times, places, and cultures, belief in God makes you a happier person and makes you behave more morally. Right, what does that prove? Well, nothing by itself, but look at the consequences of that. If there's no God, then the unhappy and at least tempted to be more immoral atheist has a better mind. They like to call themselves brights. All right, if they're right, they're bright, and we're stupid. In fact, if they're right, we're very stupid. We who believe are insane. Freud goes so far as to say that in Civilization and Its Discontents. He says religion is the world's greatest illusion. It's a hallucination, a collective hallucination. It's like Harvey in that old Jimmy Stewart movie. Harvey is the 13-foot-high invisible rabbit who is Jimmy Stewart's best friend. He's a 40-year-old ordinary guy in every other way, but he believes in Harvey. Nobody else can see Harvey but him. And he consults Harvey before anything he does. And Harvey's the most important person in his life. And of course, Harvey doesn't exist. He's nuts. Well, if God doesn't exist, we have an even bigger Harvey, and we're even more nuts than Jimmy Stewart. So the consequence of atheism being true is that only the atheists are right, and we're all nuts. But we're happier, and we're more saintly. Camus agonized all his life over the problem of how to be a saint without God. Atheists, of course, can be very moral, and believers can be very immoral. But how can you be a saint without God? He couldn't believe in God, and he knew that he had to be a saint. He could never get those two things together. I love Camus. I think you should always trust an unhappy atheist. I think you should distrust a happy one. Well, if there's no God, then the human heart is so badly devised and so in contradiction to itself that the smarter you get, the unhappier and the more immoral you get. On the other hand, the only way to be happy and moral is to believe in illusion and to be insane. Well, maybe that's not quite a proof that God exists, but if the atheists are right, that's a tremendous insult to us. I am not arguing that we ought to prioritize happiness or morality over truth. I think the opposite. How many of you believe in Santa Claus? Nobody? Why not? Made you happy? Made you moral? When you were 3, December 24th, you were a saint. Why don't you believe in Santa Claus anymore? Because you're tough-minded. You prioritize truth. So yes, indeed, we must prioritize truth. But if the truth leads to the opposite direction from happiness, and if the only way you can be happy is by believing illusions, what a terrible situation we're in.